I'm Brian Martin, the host of Nearing the Next Step. And I am delighted to have some really special guests who have taken the challenge to walk through and examine what their next step is going to look like. These are individuals who have met some degree of success already in their lives and may have pressed pause on their progress, but now they're ready to move forward. The purpose of this show is not merely to interview guests, but also to have you, the viewer, decide what your next step is going to be and how you're going to proceed to progress. I'm really looking forward to not only the answers and responses that the guests give, but the questions, the comments, the concerns that you, the viewers, have as well. So I'm really looking forward to you all interacting with us and allowing us to learn more from you. We're going to hear from our sponsors, and then we'll be back to introduce our guests.
Hi, my name is Wendy Wallace, and I have a question for you. Are you ready for your next opportunity? Whether it is your career or business goals, Wallace Career Coaching uses a holistic approach to assist and consult you on your career or business venture. I bring over 15 years of corporate, nonprofit, state, and government agency experience and am confident that I can support your individual career or business needs. Wallace Career Coaching was just launched in August of 2020, and in just 5 months, I have had the honor of serving almost 60 clients who have landed jobs that have helped them achieve their career and personal goals. I believe that with the right resources, everyone has the ability to reach their potential. Services that I provide include professional resumes and cover letters that land you the interview, interview preparation, compensation negotiation strategies, LinkedIn profile design and edits, career mapping. This is where we would create actionable goals that you can achieve in a short amount of time. I also provide new business plan development as a service because I know that there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there just like me. I also provide virtual workshops in customer service, project management, time management, business operations, and group career coaching. If you need someone to help you reach your career or business goals, I'm your person. This girl right here. Check out my website at www.wwallaceconsulting.com. Again, the website is www.wwallaceconsulting.com. Be empowered to reach your potential. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks again for being a part of Nearing the Next Step. This is our premiere episode, and I'm super excited because I have special guests with me. Let's get right into introducing each of these guests so that we can roll right into the show. My first guest is a wife and mother whom I've known for about a decade now. We attend the same diocese of churches in Connecticut, and we have come to know each other, and I'm actually delighted to have her because, as I've mentioned, she has already had a pretty good degree of success in her life. So it's really interesting to look at taking this next step from her perspective. Tanyelle Mayberry is, again, a successful wife and mother, and how she juggles all of that is beyond me. But she has admitted that she's having a little bit of difficulty taking that next step. So, Tanyelle, if you only had 30 seconds to describe your dream, what would you say?
Hi, Brian. Thanks for having me today. I would say writing and illustrating a children's book has been a lifelong dream since I was the age of 9. I remember being in 4th grade in an art class, and I remember drawing a picture of a rabbit. And I was so proud of it. And I brought it home to my parents, and they looked at me and they were saying to themselves and to me, "Did you really draw that picture, Tanya?" And I said, "Yeah, I actually really drew the picture." And they both were staring at me in shock. And then since that age of 9, I've never strayed away from that dream. So, and besides, I think it would be fun to have my name in print.
I can agree with you. I think it would absolutely be incredible to have someone's name in print, right? Your own name in print or up in lights, right? So that, of course, is amazing in and of itself. You have the ability, the artistic ability to actually draw, and this is a lifelong dream of yours. So let me ask you this. What would you say has been holding you back?
I would simply say that myself personally has been holding me back. I am very persistent in other things in my career, which is my corporate career. Very, I would say, successful in the businesses that I have started. But I would say it's simply as myself, procrastination, trying to find the time to devote to it. So it's a plethora of a lot of things, but I know that, and I just need to focus on one thing.
Well, I think there are a lot of people that can identify with the challenges that you've named, Tanya. Obviously, fitting the time in between being, again, a wife, being a mother, being a successful entrepreneur, there's going to take a lot of your time. There's no question about that. So let's ask this. How close have you come to actually achieving this dream in the past?
I don't know if I've come that close. I think I would say I finished a few sketches where I've come close to the end of what I would think a book. And to the point where I shared those sketches with other family members, and actually a bunch of kids in the family. And they all were cracking up at the sketches. So I was like, okay, so I'm on the right track. However, it's the writing piece that I struggle with. I can sketch, illustrate all day long. It's the writing piece that gives me the hardest time because I'm not a writer. My brother Charles is an accomplished writer, and he could probably write circles all around me. But for me, it's the sketching. It's sketching. I can do sketching, but the writing is my struggle. So yeah.
Okay. So this sounds really interesting, right? And I love this because, again, I appreciate your transparency and allowing yourself to be vulnerable in this moment to share that. But again, I believe that this is so important for the viewers because they and myself, we're struggling with the same thing. So we're really going to get into that again. So thank you again, Tanyelle. We're going to move on to our next guest, who is a man with a passion to serve men and families. I call him the Steph Curry of community revival. This individual is a proud father. He is a respected individual in the community. And for that reason, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Stefan Palmer, who has been a light in underserved communities. Stefan, thank you so much for being a part of the show on today. So let's get right into this. The interesting thing about you, Stefan, is that you've taken several big steps already. I'd call them big next steps. So let's talk about this organization, Youth on Fire. You've been operating it now for how long?
Almost 4 years, sir.
Almost 4 years. So honestly, it sounds like you've already made it. What do you feel your next step is supposed to be?
My next step is finding an effective team to actually execute the business plan of Youth on Fire and being able to go into the community and help families, youth, and men and women achieve family stability or educational next steps.
Okay, so let's examine that a little bit more before we go to our next guest. So you're essentially saying that your next step involves the inclusion of other people. And that's really a huge part of this, right? Because in listening to what Tanyelle said, she says, hey, I'm great with the sketching aspect, but when it comes to writing the story, that's not really my strong point. But then she admits that her brother is a writer. And oftentimes we find in lives, our lives would be so much better or easier, smoother, if we could just do it all ourselves. But here you are, Stefan, who has already met a degree of success with your organization, recognizing that to take it to that next step, you're going to need like-minded individuals. So that's really a great admission on your part. So we're going to dive into that a little more as we get further into the show. Thank you so much. So my last but not least guest, I've known for 2 decades. And although she and I both look young, I know 2 decades of time that we've known each other. And it's really been an enjoyable experience. But of course, in that time, I have watched Janita McGuigan grow personally, spiritually, and professionally. Again, as a wife and mother, she has already experienced a great degree of success in her life. And to be honest, I was shocked when she reached out to me and said, hey, I want to be a part of the show. So in talking about what it is that she wants to do, I discovered that she had yet another dream, a bigger dream. So let's talk about that dream, Janita. You want to start a nonprofit organization. Doing what exactly?
I'm looking to help young ladies, women, kids to develop or just actually be a mentor to them, to help them to be able to learn and develop, and just to know that they can do anything in life, regardless of what may come their way as far as obstacles.
Wow, that's a great dream. I mean, honestly, that really is one of those all-encompassing dreams, right? It's not just something that's going to benefit you, but it's going to benefit others who can certainly be able to really glean from the experiences that you've had and that other people have had as well. So that's really honorable. Now, for Tanyelle, hers has been a lifelong dream. Did you always want to start a 501c3 to help young women?
No, I actually just not long ago realized that that's what I'm really passionate about doing, is helping young ladies.
Really? So what would you say kind of brought that to the forefront for you?
Well, I kind of have a little bit of experience. I was a young mother, and not knowing how to be a mother at 15. My mom could only help as much as she could because she worked as well. So I'm just interested in helping just young women, just to know that, you know, whatever is thrown your way, you can be anything that you want to be.
Wow, that's great insight. Thank you so much. And it's really telling, you know, to recognize that you have this dream that's really a part of your own experiences, and you looking at others and saying, hey, I want to help you through what can really be a difficult process. So we salute you, Janine. Thank you again for each of you being a part of the show, for introducing yourselves and sharing with us your dreams. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to go a little deeper with each of these dreams and find out more from our guests.
Want to give a huge shout out to my coach, Coach Tiqua Scarborough. Thank you so much for teaching me the things that you have taught me, and for inspiring me to actually push myself to move forward in my business.
we're back. I'm Brian Martin, the host of Nearing the Next Step, the show on which we explore taking your next step. I'm delighted to have with me 3 awesome guests. Tanyelle Mayberry, a successful mother, wife, and entrepreneur who is looking to fulfill her next dream, becoming a published children's book author. Thank you, Tanyelle, for being a part of the show. My next guest is Stefan Palmer, a respected and esteemed community leader who is looking to mentor both fathers and families in underserved communities. And finally, my last but not least guest is Janita McGuigan, another successful mother, wife, and professional who is looking to start a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is designed to mentor young women who are seeking to navigate life. Awesome dreams, everyone. Thank you so much for, again, agreeing to be a part of this. So let's get right into this. Some people are a lot more comfortable telling people about their dreams than others are. So Janita, let's start with you. You've just really discovered what you want to do. Have you been eager to tell people about it?
No, not everyone, because I kind of lack the confidence myself. If I told everyone, I wouldn't get the feedback to continue moving forward with the 501c3. So I've only told those that are excited, or that I would feel excited for me to continue on and would push me to go further.
You know, you bring up something very interesting, Janita, this idea that, hey, I'm going to take this next step, even though I'm a little apprehensive, I'm a little anxious. Let's be honest, I'm a lot nervous, but I'm going to take this step. And I think that's really important for our viewers to recognize that taking that next step does not mean that you're not afraid. It doesn't mean that you don't have some apprehensions, some fears, but you're willing to move forward anyway. So thank you for that. And then also, it's really important to have support. So telling the proper people about your dream to increase your confidence is key. So thank you really for bringing up those points. And that support makes quite a bit of difference. So Tanyelle, you don't have much of a problem sharing your dream with others, is that right?
Somewhat. I'm comfortable sharing my dream with my family and close friends. They actually hear about it just about every chance I get when I'm around them. So I'm comfortable sharing my dream with mostly my family and close friends, those that are sort of in my inner circle. Those that are outside of that circle, I'm not comfortable sharing because I'm a little fearful of ridicule. I have a hard time dealing with that. So they probably, those that are outside of my circle probably don't even know that that's a dream of mine, a lifelong dream. But if you were to ask my family and friends, they would probably say, yep, that's Tanyelle. That's what she wants to do. So,
You know, I hate to break it to you, Tanyelle, but when this show airs, your circle is going to grow a lot larger.
yeah, I can tell. I have a feeling that it's going to really go in a direction that I was a little uncomfortable with going in. So yeah.
Well, congratulations. You're already taking your next step. And let's really talk about that, right? Because we're about to wrap up the show for now, but I want to kind of do a little round robin because you brought up something really interesting, you and Janita both, that there's this apprehension of sharing this dream with certain people. So let me ask each of you this question. First, I'll point it in Stefan's direction. Do you feel that you've gone far enough in your dream so far that regardless of what people say, you're still going to move forward? So again, Stefan, do you feel that you have progressed far enough in your dream thus far that it really doesn't even matter what anyone says, you're still going to proceed?
I would have to say yes. I believe I've moved so far Perfect example. I have a 5-year-old son. I recently went and got new shirts made for Youth on Fire. As I'm ordering the shirts, my son, Emmanuel, says, "Where's my CEO shirt?" I help pass out food. I help pass out backpacks. I'm out there just like you. So for him to see the vision, the dream, and want to be a part of it at 5, I have no choice but to keep going.
That's a great answer. Great answer. So let's move on to Janita. You said that, you're being really careful with the people to whom you are sharing your dream. How far do you think you need to go before it doesn't even matter what someone else says? Like, what would you need to accomplish before, you know what, the naysayers can say what they need to say, I'm still going to move forward?
Well, I'm still in the beginning stages. So I recently looked into just even establishing my own 501c3. And of course, that takes money, $600 just for that. So once that's accomplished, then there's no stopping me. I'm confident that once that one thing, that's the first thing on the list. So once that one thing is accomplished, then I'm ready to move forward and continue going.
Okay. So it's kind of like at this point, you've dipped your toe in the pool, you got a little further in, you're on the steps leading into the pool. But once you put that money down, once that 501c3 has been created, you're in the deep end of the pool. There's no going back.
Sink or swim.
Absolutely. That's a great attitude to have. And let's wrap this up with Tanyel. Tanyel, how far do you think you need to go before you're like, it doesn't matter what anyone says, I'm going to be this published children's book author? Or are you already at that point?
I would say I'm already at that point. I actually took the first step in purchasing what I need to start working on sketches and illustrations. I purchased an iPad, which was a pretty big purchase. So that kind of helped me and holds me accountable, because now I've purchased that. So now I need to create something with that. So I've started working on some sketches, and I'm working towards the goal of giving myself a year to complete a finished product. So I just need the accountability, someone to hold me to that timeline. So yeah.
Wow. It sounds like everyone here is really moving forward. And that's really the point of the show, to help us really walk through our fears, our apprehensions, and recognize that that next step may be a really big step, but it can be broken down into smaller, more manageable steps. So we're going to wrap it up here. We've had a wonderful time with our guests, and they will be back for episode 2. So thank you again for being a part of this. Let's review what we've covered thus far, and let's get some takeaways, shall we? Some tips that any of us can incorporate into our chase for change. Tanyel made an interesting point. Often we can be our worst critic when we should be our biggest fan. So let's concentrate on being the first person who celebrates our own victories. Stefan was rather transparent in admitting that his next step is assembling a team, the right group of people that will help propel his dream into the stratosphere. We would all do well to recognize that we will need others in order to fully implement our dreams. And finally, Janita, you bring something important to the forefront. It's been said that our greatest ministry is often tied to our greatest injury. While you might have preferred it another way, sometimes it's the difficult things in life that give birth to our dreams. So thank you all for staying with us for the premiere episode of Nearing the Next Step. I'm Brian Martin, and please be sure to tune in for the next episode where we continue the conversation with Tanyel, Stefan, and Janita and discover other jewels and tools in your chase for change. We'll see you soon.
I'm going to step, gonna take